What if I told you that I almost died having a seizure in my early 20s? Hi, my name is Martin. I have an extreme form of epilepsy where I experience one seizure a week, mostly at night while sleeping. And I'm here to share my story. Now, when I was first diagnosed with epilepsy, which was in my 20s, that's when I first started having convulsive seizures. And a doctor told me that I need to stop drinking alcohol and take medication. But they were just basically saying, come back every 6 months and tell me how you're going. But no one was really telling me about the condition. And I was at the time living overlooking Newport Beach in the northern suburbs of Sydney. I would often go for a walk along the beach, and the type of seizures that I was experiencing, or still do, are called focal seizures. And they start as a simple focal seizure, or more commonly called an aura, where a person, if it's the left temporal lobe, it's an unusual smell, a feeling of dizziness, or a feeling of just needing to rest quickly. If it's the right temporal lobe, it can be a feeling of deja vu, like I've been here before, this is really weird. I would have this simple focal seizure that would last maybe 10 to 20 seconds, and then it could progress into a complex partial seizure, which meant I would lose consciousness and start convulsing. But sometimes it didn't go into those seizures. And at that age, I thought I could control them if I just calmed down. I believed I had control of them. And so at times I would go just for a little swim in the water when it was really hot, because I was on the beach, thinking, what I'll do is come out, even if I feel a seizure coming on, I'll have time to get out of the water. But one day I was in the water and I felt the seizure coming on and I got stuck in a rip and it started pulling me back to the right and I just lost consciousness. The next thing that I was consciously aware of was lying on my back on the sand and breathing. That's about as much air as I could get into my lungs. And 2 paramedics were standing over me. There was a lifeguard on the beach that day who came and saved me and called the police, or the ambulance. These paramedics worked on me and took me to the hospital. When I got to the emergency unit, they worked for a couple of days to get the water out of my lungs, and a doctor said to me, you know, if you weren't an opera singer, you would have died out there because you had 95% of your lungs full of salt water. So I only had 5% of my lung breath ability. And he said, if you didn't have that strength in your diaphragm and your lungs from all that training, there's no way you would have lived. And it was after that point that I just suddenly started thinking differently about life. I thought, really, do I care that much about things like materialistic things, like needing to own a home or needing to drive a car? Do I really just need to enjoy life and accept myself for who I am? And so that's where I changed my focus on myself. It is important to realize that the condition's just a part of your life and you need to learn how to live with it.